congratulations on season 3 of Reacher. It's honestly been such a wild ride. And before I even get into the episodes themselves, I want to go back to the very beginning of the season, and I want you to tell me how you even got involved in this series.
Well, they needed a Hispanic that was slightly overweight. And my agent sent me, and I did a self-tape, and then I got invited for the callback. I said, well, I should watch the show, you know, for the callback.
Mhm.
And so I watched season one, episode one, and oh my God, my audition was crap. Now that I know what this is about, and this unexpected reaction was I was proud for the first time in my life to be a military veteran from watching something on TV. I was proud because of Reacher's values, especially when he got arrested. And so I decided to watch the rest of the 8 episodes, and then I Googled to try to guess which was the book. I downloaded the book and I read it all in one weekend, and the 8 episodes, and then that was after that. I said, hey, I since the self tape and this, I read the book and watched the season. Best TV I've ever seen. Here we go, and then we did the auditions.
And I was gonna say, and now you get to be a part of that. And I think, as you said, is that, you come yourself with your military background. How much of that came into play with you in this season and bringing your
Oh,
character to life?
it was everything. It started the first. I worked on nuclear reactors, so
Mhm.
it's something that we do as a team and all specialties, which is like a television show. All these specialties, camera, sound, special effects, wardrobe, makeup. So I really like that, where you work with experts in something that you're not expert in, but you contribute.
Mhm.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so when I became a supervisor, I had like 4 guys working for me. All of a sudden, my responsibility went through the roof, and I didn't exist anymore. They existed, and they were my little brothers.
Mhm.
Because my favorite supervisors treated us like we were his little brothers.
Yeah.
So the sense of family is what I wanted to bring in between me and my favorite student, which was Duffy.
Yeah.
It's in there. I was her training officer. So and then Billy can't have kids.
Mhm.
So I decided that I every weekend I would invite people over to my house and just make hamburgers for them in my imagination. And because that's what used to happen on the ship.
Mhm.
And so that's what I wanted to bring. And then the aspect of he's retiring in 5 months. Well, I remember my last 4 months on the ship, I was removed from my chain of command. And so then I'm on the ship in the middle of the Pacific. So what did I do? I walked around and checked how people were doing on their job. I'm going to be gone soon. I just want to make sure that the ship is in good shape. So that's what I wanted to bring with Duffy,
Mhm.
that I'm there, she's the boss, but I'm just making sure and just whispering to her in the ear,
Mhm.
hey, treat him a little bit better or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like
Well, I
he's
was gonna say,
giving
I was like
up the
that
authority.
that truly comes across in every episode that you share with everything you share with Duffy, like that mentorship, that family kind of type of relationship. And I want to know if it came across very easy for you for the building that chemistry and having that, like I said, it shows really well on when you're watching the episodes, but was it easy for you to come to that while you were
Well,
filming?
well, working with Sonia, I mean, she's literally an expert in acting, and literally Royal Academy Dramatic Art graduate. And what we would do is when we were not on set, we would just chat and talk, just like Billy and Duffy chat and talk about this and that. And she'd tell me about cooking and London, and it didn't matter what we were talking about. What mattered is that we were connected, so that when we were on camera later, we've had 1,000 conversations. It has to feel that way.
Mhm.
So we sort of rehearsed the stuff that was not in the script, but as Roberto and Sonia, and just building that chemistry.
Yeah.
And she was leading with that. She was leading that, lots of fun. And I think I mean, that was it. It was all about Sonia. And there was one thing one of my acting teachers talked about was every scene is an opportunity to be a love scene.
Hmm.
And so like the father daughter kind of thing is what I wanted to have. And that even when we were shooting guns, you know, it was about protecting her, you know. And
Hmm.
even though I was not in shape, I just wanted to, and that was the other thing I had to do. I had gotten heavy from a hormone situation,
Hmm.
and I wanted to embrace it rather than to feel bad about it,
Hmm.
you know. And so that I got from the ship that sometimes chiefs got a little bit overweight, and they were proud of it,
Hmm.
you know.
Yep.
So I played a Master Chief, E9.
I was gonna say I have to ask you because you talk about before this you were dealing with nuclear warfare and then
No, no, nuclear energy.
nuclear energy. I'm so sorry.
Made
Nuclear
electricity
energy.
in a
How,
really fancy way.
yeah, how does how do you go from that to acting? I have to know because that's they seem so far
Great question. Great question.
apart.
What happened was a friend of mine asked me to help him with a short film. And I'm like, what? So I started ask he wanted $8,000 to make a short film. And I didn't have $8,000. I got 300, but let me pass the hat.
Mhm.
Because one thing we did when someone would get arrested for drinking and driving or whatever, we would get their bail in 15 minutes by passing the hat. It takes $20. And $1,500, they run to the police department, get them out. So I passed the hat, and I don't know, something like $40,000 worth of post-production showed up, services. And the guy says to me, "Wow, you should be a producer." I said, "What the hell's a producer?" This is they make films. I said, "I thought the director makes films." He goes, "Yeah, but the producer hires the director." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And part of that, so I started interning as a producer, and I learned how to budget, schedule independent films, not studio films. And then somebody said you should be in acting class so you could determine if a script is worth it or it's toilet paper. So I joined acting class, and that's felt like when I was on the ship. Every time the ship went out, we make believe we got hit with a torpedo or we got hit with a missile,
Mhm.
and then we'd fight it. It was fake fire or
Mhm.
fake flooding, but it was so exciting.
Mhm.
It felt like a production. It felt like we were doing an action sequence. And it was every day for 4 years. There was drills
Mhm.
because that's the way the Navy is. We
Mhm.
drill.
Mhm.
So with acting, it's very similar. We have actions we take. We call them immediate actions. We have dialogue. We
Mhm.
call it giving reports.
Mhm.
And so when I started acting in class, I'm like, oh my God, if I could figure out a way to make a living doing this, I'm in heaven. And it only took 22 years, but
But you did
I
it.
no, I just wouldn't quit. And that's from my military training. You don't quit. You get your arm blown off, you wait till someone relieves you. You
Mhm.
stay on your machine.
Mhm.
Somebody else put a tourniquet on it. I mean, I put on tourniquets, I don't know, 50, 100 guys, making believe that somebody got
Yeah.
hurt in the engine room. Somebody has to cover this machinery. That I just love that, these incredible problems. And acting does that, but it's such a engineered kind of way,
Mhm.
especially with the writing on this team. Oh my God. So
Yeah, they
yeah.
really get to let you play in this season with the writing. Or at least I think as like an actor, you're not kind of confined to a certain because you find this quite a bit with other TV shows is a lot of times the actors are confined to a box and this they can only stay in this box. But yet throughout this season, you guys really get to play a whole different range of emotions, of actions. Your like you said, your relationship with Duffy, then you have the relationship with Breacher. Like it's all so different. And for you, is that exciting to get to do
Oh
that, to
my
get to
God.
expand outside of that like box?
Well, I love being inside the process
Hmm.
because it starts with Nick Santora and Sam Hill and Mick Betancourt discussing how are we going to shoot this, what are we going to do, and then Alan starts throwing in Sonia and the scenes that I was in, and it's just created. And while the guys are setting the lights in 10 minutes, the genius level of this. So it's all discussed while they're setting up the lights or the camera for this angle, and it's approved. We rehearse it, and then it's like off. And then what I love, the process is similar but every scene is different. So there's no 2 days that are alike. And it's the only job I've ever had that's like that. So I was I just love the process. And
Mhm.
as a nuclear engineer, I just love watching really talented people, experienced people, and I was catching up to them. So it was just fun. I love learning. So I had so much fun.
Well, that and also for someone who had been in your position with the nuclear energy, it's all about the attention of detail too. So for you, you're noticing, for somebody who's done acting their entire life, that's they're not noticing the smaller details until they're further down the road. But like in your case, you're immediately noticing those smaller details. And do you think that really helped improve your performance this season?
Well, they're so detailed, especially Sam and Alan. I mean, they were talking about eye lines, eye points. They were talking about pauses. They were talking about these one. I was like, well, I would have done this for free, and don't tell nobody, because I love learning.
Mhm.
I love learning, and one of the things I really liked was whenever Sam calls cut, he never says cut. He throws a cheer. I mean, I heard him do it hundreds of times. Yes! And then that spreads the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the month. And I could see why Nick hired him. This guy as a director, I mean, he's an expert, but also the energy. He starts everything with and good energy and action. Good energy is everything that you were describing with the different shows. It starts with that point of Sam with every take. Now with good energy, that's his priority. That's what's in you see in every frame is you see good energy. And now I tell myself that if when I'm on another show, good energy, go. I, I'm going to borrow that from Sam.
I was just about to say, I was like, that type of idea, that type of mindset of keeping high morale for both actors and crew, it's it's hard to find sometimes, especially in the entertainment industry. So to hear that Sam is so, as you said, he starts the vibes, he gets the set going, and to hear him at the end of a,
and Nick and
and
Nick,
Nick,
the
yeah,
two
to
of them,
hear,
every take starts with them.
oh my
You
God.
know,
And to hear that you're now saying that's what I'm taking to my next roles, because if you can
absolutely.
carry that to the next role, then somebody who you're working with on that next role hopefully will take it and you'll start this little trickle effect.
Well, the most important lesson I learned in my 8 years in the Navy was from the commanding officer who was responsible for $1 billion warship and all its machinery, all its computers, everything. And morale is just as important as our missiles, as our radar, as our reactors, morale. And that blew me away. And that changed my life because he asked me, can you help me with morale? And I said, absolutely. So every day it was a habit on the ship. I would say hello 200 times a day. Easy. Whoever I saw him, I say hello to him 5 times. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Just to lift morale. I took that into my acting career. I say hello to every crew member. I try to figure out their first names just as a game for, the memory muscle. I like to figure out who's first name, Darcy or Mike. Oh, this John. Oh, sorry. So it was so much fun. 14-hour days. I wish they were 16-hour days.
But it
No
also
one,
shows you care. That's the biggest thing. It shows that you care and you respect everybody you're working with.
well, I'm just copying them.
Yeah.
They care and they respect everybody they're working with. I'm copying them, you know. But
Well, real
like
quickly
I
for my
said,
final
I want to
question.
thank all the members of the USS Arkansas that I served with, and
Oh my God.
I just I wore this hat every day on set.
Oh, that's
just,
amazing.
just to remind me of what it was like to be on the ship, because that's what it was like being with Duffy and Elliot. We were on the ship, and it was just an acting trick,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
No,
it opens up my heart, yeah,
yeah.
and that's what I was wondering, hoping for.
That's absolutely amazing. I love that. I love that you wear the hat every day, just as a reminder to yourself. That's so
Actor
wonderful.
trick, and technique is whatever works, and you know,
Yeah.
this might not work for somebody else, but they might do something that doesn't work for me. But it's like bring it on.
Yeah,
Bring it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, real quickly for my final question, because this season has been such a wild ride, especially these last few episodes. For the final couple left, because the season's about to wrap, how can you describe them in one word?
The what?
How can you describe the final few episodes in one word?
Oh my God. Super critical. When a reactor starts up and it goes super critical, the engines start turning, the turbines start turning, the radar starts. This is coming up. It's super critical. Uh, you know, and that's just a nuke nerd. I'm a
Yeah.
nerd, but
No, that's a great description.
and it's powerful. It's powerful. You know, I'm so proud of everybody.
Mhm.
That was a small part of this team. This
Mhm.
team. It's just I'll never forget this for the rest of my life.
Well, you shouldn't, because like I said, this season so far has been amazing, and I'm so excited to watch the final two
Thank
episodes.
I appreciate that.